So I was just lying here with Maurice, and she's like very hyper vigilant to me. Like she just sits there and watches me hanging on my every move. By the way, this cat has food, water. I even opened the door for her early so she could go out if she wants to. She just like she's a Velcro cat, I guess. Just like so be on my heel when I walk, and I just moved barely, and I saw her like her eyes open and she like tensed herself to get ready to run, and that really cracked me up. And I like to make narratives and songs that mock my cats or that narrate their lives in funny ways. So yeah, I after I start to pet her after she's, I'm like, you're not gonna run. I'm not going anywhere. Then I made up a song for her. It was called "You Got to Run for Your Life. The time has come. You know you got to do it." Right? It was very funny. And I'm looking at her face, and her face looks like she goes along with the song. You got to run for your life. The time has come. You know you got to do it, right? It's so funny in my mind, right? And I mean, oh no, 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 no. I'm philosophizing. I'm taking this too deep. I was going to talk about how this has actually been the case for her on the street, from the dogs and from the bad people and from the cars. She had to run for her life. But it just makes me think about how animals really know how precious life and how precious your body is. And like, I have seen a cat that had nothing to do with anything jump out of my arms after I tried to take her away and go and repeatedly run back and try to break up a fight between, her brother cat and another cat. Her brothers, they were both her brothers. So she'd just get in the middle and break it up and then try to walk away, and they would fight again. She would run back into it, you know, um, or even like, I don't know, just cats that protect the life of others. I've seen that so many times. There was one where a dog was trying to attack a child, and a cat came out of nowhere and attacked the dog. It was their cat. But it's like they know that life is, and I'm just laughing because of the comment um, that one of my regular commenters left on the other video. Life is fragile, but it's not precious. And I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of true. It's like weird when I think about it, you know. People from my school who've died, or like, I've been trying to look up my childhood best friends online and I can't find any traces of them. And I wonder if they passed on. Like, some of them had really bad problems since they were kids, kind of like me. And I'm just like, I was like crazy to think that, yeah, like you will die and people will forget about you, and it'll be like you never existed in, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, less. It's like really weird to think about that. And like now that I'm seeing people my age dying, um, and I'm like trying to find some kind of, like, I don't feel sad about it. That's like really weird to me, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, well, it's just like a part of life. Like, I know what it's like to feel sad because someone died, because like, you have like guilt and like things you wish could have been different and everything else. But just like the cold, hard fact of someone dying, it's like, people who work in hospitals and stuff, they see that like every day. I feel like I've thought about it so much, and I've experienced, having to pull the plug on your own mother and then watch her die in front of you, having to actually die yourself numerous times. It's just not. I think what's sad about the thing that's kind of sad about like death or losing your body or losing your body parts or something, it's like, as I'm talking about it, I'm like thinking of how animals, like they want to hold on to their body parts. they know it's like so, their body is so valuable, you know? It just kind of, it's like very touching to me because I very much pull away. I very much pull away from my body, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I've kind of always been trying to do that. Like, I will use it to do things I want to do, like run and ride bikes and, you know, whatever else. But I don't know. I went to a therapist, a Harvard therapist, many years ago, and he's like, I think you like cats because their curiosity and their playfulness, and you need to find some play. You can, if you're talking to a Harvard or an Ivy League therapist, you can be sure that whatever they tell you about yourself is whatever they're studying at the moment. They're researching something, and now they think this is everybody. But that's fine because you still learn about yourself anyway. But I think what it is I like about cats is that they actually take. This is another narrative that I have with Maurice, a story that I tell her over and over again. Maurice, you're taking everything too seriously. And it's like I have these phrases that I repeat to like certain cats in my life, like over and over again. And that's the one for Maurice. Maurice, you take everything too seriously. You can see that in videos on my Instagram. I opened up my Instagram again. And there's a highlight reel with just Maurice and all the videos I have with her. And you can see we play it at night every time. And I'm like, Maurice, you take it too seriously. And she gets really immersed. You know, she goes crazy. She loves to fight and, you know, pounce and catch things and be a ninja. You know, like I could put like a toy like on the bed or whatever, and I'll like wiggle it around, and then she'll like jump out of nowhere off the ground, do a roll off the bed, grab it, and roll back off the other side. Like, Maurice, it's not that serious. But that's what I like about animals. They do take life very seriously. And, you know, thinking of myself as a human has hurt me a lot in life. So, like, I could just think of myself as a cat and I feel much better. Because, like, Maurice is not sitting here, like, thinking about how her parents were alley cats. They didn't give a thought to her future. I mean, technically they couldn't. They don't have the ability to do that. But if I just think of myself as being born from alley cats, and now I'm Maurice out here having to rely on my wits and everything else to get by in life, then it's fine, you know. When I first came out to Mexico, to be fair, there were like a couple of little things that my ex-husband did to help me. Like he bought me a suitcase, which I think is just such an ironic, like, he doesn't get the emotional weirdness of that kind of thing. Or maybe he does because he's passive aggressive and I didn't get it. I don't know. But he bought me a suitcase and I was able to touch base. I'm like, can I call you when I get to the country and when I'm in my hotel room at night? Because my plane arrived late at night. I was like a little bit nervous or whatever. He's like, yeah. I think I texted him or something like that. I don't know. But we also had like these like bad interactions between us too, like a little bit of like bad blood. And I think I remember like asking him like, can you help me with like something, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, you're like one of the and like I'm just paraphrasing it, but he was kind of like, no, you're like one of the barn cats now. He was essentially being like, well, you're on your own, you know, kind of thing. It was like, I remember reading that and being like, I'm so glad I got away from this man. He's just like no empathy, no humanity. And never, I'm not gonna say he didn't care about me because like I know that he did, or at least he did a really good show of it. I don't know. But I just remember thinking that was just such a cruel and stupid and effed up thing to say to somebody who's like, you know, doesn't have a family like you, who's like sick, who's like, you know, all these friggin' things. And then I was like, well, I left him because he doesn't have social grace and he doesn't have empathy and he might be a psychopath. So why should I be surprised that he's acting like this after? Like, you know what I mean? Should have just like moved on and everything else. But I am. I am like one of the barn cats. I am like one of the alley cats. There's the cats who are kept in the home and they get everything provided for them and they have all the help and they have all the care and all the love. But are they going to survive times like these? No, they are not. Do they know how to run for their life? The time has come. You know you got to do it. You know, I'm singing this song. She's like looking at the door. I'm like, you got to run for your life. It's so funny. So funny. But also very inspiring.